librarians here at Hart County Library, and welcome to another edition of Trivialized Horror. This episode is sort of different in that the stories themselves are sort of the trivia. These are all two-sentence micro stories that we got from the internet. I have to admit I found some of them a little bit too disturbing to share, but they're out there if you really want to go and look for them. We've broken the stories into categories. See if you can figure out what they have in common. The doctors told the amputee he might experience a phantom limb from time to time. Nobody prepared him for the moments, though, when he felt cold fingers brush across his phantom hand. Nurse's note. Born 7 pounds 10 ounces, 18 inches long, 32 fully formed teeth. Silent, always smiling. I can't move, breathe, speak, or hear, and it's so dark all the time. If I had known it'd be this lonely, I would have been cremated instead. I was having a pleasant dream when what sounded like hammering woke me. After that, I could barely hear the muffled sound of dirt covering the coffin over my own screams. The funeral attendees never came out of the catacombs. Something has locked the crypt door from inside. I just saw my reflection blink. The mirror had been left to me by my late aunt's estate, stored in the attic and covered in paper. I stared at my reflection, feeling that something was off, but not knowing what, when my reflection winked at me. I've been noticing it for months, but that tiny lag in my reflection, not that anyone believed me. Today was different. She didn't even attempt to mimic me. She stood there smiling. I think she wants to come out. I woke up to hear knocking on glass. At first I thought it was the window until I heard it come from the mirror again. When she turned around, she saw her own self dressed in different clothes. Her heart went into shock, and the other self gently helped her to the floor as she died. I began tucking him in bed, and he tells me, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." I look underneath for his amusement and see him, another him, under the bed, staring back at me, quivering and whispering, "Daddy, there's somebody on my bed." You hear your mom calling you into the kitchen. As you're heading down the stairs, you hear a whisper from the closet saying, "Don't go down there, honey. I heard it too." The wailing from the baby monitor just won't stop. Problem is, my daughter is with her mother this weekend, over 200 miles away. After dating all through high school and college, our daughter's boyfriend finally came by today to ask my husband and me for her hand. We gave it to him, hoping that he'll finally tell us where the rest of her is. "It's safe to come out now, sweetie," Dad said reassuringly, his blue eyes shining at me through the gap in the bedroom door. He's been saying that for hours, but it doesn't change the fact that my dad's eyes are green. The grinning face stared at me from the darkness beyond my bedroom window. I live on the 14th floor. There was a picture in my phone of me sleeping. I live alone. Working the night shift alone tonight, there's a face in the cellar staring at the security camera. You start to drift off into a comfortable sleep when you hear your name being whispered, and you live alone. You're lying in bed with your feet dangling out of the covers. You feel a hand grab your feet. I like to sing in the shower sometimes. When I got out of the last one, the note in the fogged up mirror read, "You have a lovely voice." I live alone. I had a dream that a man was watching me sleep from outside my bedroom window. When I woke up, I found footprints inside, next to my bed. My cat never goes near my closet. The one day she did, she never came back out. My girlfriend is scared of horror movies. They make her paranoid, which can be tricky when I'm watching her through her living room window. I was starving and lost in the woods until I found a hiker. I'm full now. I just wish she hadn't screamed so loud. The dog sits at my gate every morning and night when I leave and come home from work. Even after all this time, she can still smell her owner's blood on my hands. "Officer, I just looked away for a second and my baby was gone," I sobbed helplessly. "That's better. I sound much more convincing this time," I thought with a smile as I finally picked up the phone to call the police. "I found a dead body in my trunk today, which is strange because I remember putting 2 in there yesterday." "For sale, like new engagement ring, barely warm, came right off her finger. Finger also for sale for the right offer." Audra looked across the table to smile warmly at the loving faces of her husband and children. "I do so enjoy our time together," she whispered as she gently placed each of their severed heads back into the refrigerator. I used to be considered the evil twin, but now I'm considered an only child. I don't know where the hell my husband is. I can't remember where I buried him. I went camping with my 2 best friends, but by the time we left, we were nothing but a murderer, a witness, and a dead body. Before I can go to sleep, I have to check all the doors around the house. If they're all locked, I can move on to the next house. I have a friend named Charlie. I'm playing at his house, but it's cold down here in the basement. I wonder when Charlie's going to let me go home. I used a Ouija board yesterday, but I only asked one question and put it away. I got my answer today, written in blood on my ceiling. My cat is asleep beside my computer in his favorite spot. I've buried him 10 times. My grandmother told me it was a gift to see the angel of death in front of people's houses, to know he would be collecting someone there soon. I thought it was a gift too, until the day I began to see it in front of every house. I didn't panic when my best friend Tom started shuddering from head to toe, clutching his stomach and coughing up blood. I panicked when the blood started crawling up my leg. Being the last human alive isn't too bad. I just wish my hungry neighbors would leave me alone. They delivered the mannequins wrapped in bubble wrap. From the main room, I began to hear popping. I always thought my cat had a staring problem. She always seemed fixated on my face until one day when I realized she was always looking just behind me. "I can't sleep," she whispered, crawling into bed with me. I woke up cold, clutching the dress she was buried in. Let me do that one again. "I can't sleep," she whispered, crawling into bed with me. I woke up cold, clutching the dress she was buried in. I kiss my wife and daughter goodnight before I go to sleep. When I wake up, I'm in a padded room, and the nurses tell me it was just a dream. Don't be scared of the monsters, just look for them. Look to your left, look to your right, under your bed, behind your dresser, in your closet, but never look up. That one just hates to be seen. And finally, at the expense of the last of their ammunition, the lumbering beast collapsed. Too bad the hunting party couldn't spare a moment while patting each other on the back to notice that its mother had witnessed the entire display. Thanks for listening, and happy Halloween.